I wanted to bring up this chart. Now, I've actually talked about this chart in previous videos, but it shows the change in median unit and house values over a 30-year period to July 2022. And I was looking at it the other day and I noticed something interesting. And I'm often reminded when I'm looking at charts, I have a stockbroking background, as many of you probably know, and the technical analysis is a big part of stockbroking and stock trading. And I'm often reminded of the famous Mark Twain quote that is, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And let me just show you what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm seeing something that's not there, I don't know. But in 2006, Melbourne dwelling values increased by 22% in 1 year. And this was just after Perth had a significant increase of 41%. 10 years later, from 2006 to 2016, Melbourne had another large increase in value, peaking at a 56% run, okay, before the market started to slow down. We're now approaching another 10 years from that last monumental kind of occasion to 2026. And Melbourne looks like it's hit the bottom of the market. And I want to say on record, and I've done this many times about different markets, and you can watch our videos to see when I get it right and the odd time I've gotten it wrong, but Melbourne will be the best performing capital city for the next decade. And I know it's a big call, but I'm going to show you why. Melbourne's dwelling values rose by 0.5% in March, continuing the unexpected kind of uptick from February. Melbourne trailed behind the other capital cities due to extended lockdowns from COVID, but also because of ongoing net interstate migration losses, which also was triggered during COVID. And that's an issue that's only recently began to turn around. In Melbourne, if we look at the price points, it's now relatively affordable. Its median dwelling value is $781,000, and that's well below the 1.19, or let's call it $1.2 million in Sydney, $900,000 in Brisbane, $830,000 in Adelaide, and about $810,000 in Perth. So when you see that, it doesn't surprise me that the market is starting to notice Melbourne. And I think we're starting to see some increased interest. Melbourne has been the clear underperformer since the onset of COVID. And I've talked about this quite a few times, and I've got some other charts to go into it. But here is the real turning point. For the first time in years, Victoria is back in the black when it comes to interstate migration, people moving there, okay? In the year Q3 2024, the state recorded a net gain of 800 people. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but they've been losing people for years now. And this is clear evidence that that tide is finally starting to shift. In March, Australian property prices increased by 0.4%, following a 0.3% rise in February. And this marks what we would call now a reversal after several months of minor declines, indicating that the market may have reached its cyclical bottom and is beginning to strengthen.